Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I am your host Uzma Jafri, and today we are here to discuss on the topic of deep learning. Deep learning is a kind of machine learning and artificial intelligence that imitates the way that humans gain certain kinds of knowledge. Deep learning is an important element of data science and also where cognitive skills are used. So it is extremely beneficial to data scientists to collect, analyze and interpret large amounts of data. So discuss more on the subject, and I would say to discuss deeply on deep learning, we have a panel of experts here with us. I would like to introduce our first expert. He is Mr. Tejpal Singh. He is an entrepreneur, MD of STAD Enterprises. Welcome to the show, sir. We also have with us Professor P.V. Suresh. He is from School of Computer and Information Sciences, IGNOU. We have our third expert, Mr. Nitya Tiwari. He is VP Technology, eClerk Solutions. I extend a warm welcome to all of you, sir, to the show. Let's start with Mr. Tejpal Singh. Sir, in a layman's language, if we say in a layman's language, suppose I am a layman, I just do not understand what is deep learning. I would like to ask you, what is deep learning and what is its use to the society?
All right. So, it's if you look at deep learning is a sub branch of actually an artificial intelligence and a sub branch of machine learning. So, if you look at artificial intelligence being the broader set, machine learning underneath the artificial intelligence, and deep learning is the subset of that machine learning, where you look at cognitive definition coming into play, anything related to behavior, human understanding, or data which is in millions of data points needs to be assessed and identified to make a decision. Deep learning is the solution that will come through. If you look at human brain functions like dendrins and neurons. In the deep learning concept also, we are looking at neurons playing it. Neuron is nothing but a data point that is traveling across different layers of decision making process, and that is where the deep learning is coming through. So, deep learning, with this deep learning coming into play, anything which relates to behavior or cognitive skills, whether it is healthcare, whether it is human, whether it is self-driving cars, you talk about anything where the machine has to learn from what is it expecting or what is it doing in the environment. The deep learning is the solution that is coming up to.
Actually, a very deep meaning of deep learning. Said an academic language and an academic definition is always different from an experienced definition. Can we have the academic description of deep learning?
One important thing is that deep learning means making the computer behave like a human being. Okay? Humans are naturally intelligent. All living beings are naturally intelligent when they are born. They have some intelligence when they are born, and as they are getting educated, they become more and more intelligent. Now, in the case of a computer, when you assemble a computer, it is not intelligent, it does not do anything. When you switch on the power, okay, it becomes a bit activated, which we call booting and other things. Now, our objective is to make this computer just behave like a human, and how we behave, our behavior depends on the healthiness of our brain and other organs also, but brain is very important. So, what is our objective is, we should have that type of capabilities in the computer which are similar to those of a brain in a human, so that when a computer is doing something, and if you are not told that it is being done by the computer, the person should think that it is a human being who is doing. That is the real objective. So, from layman's perspective, deep learning means making computer think like a human or mimic a brain or a human brain. That is what is deep learning. And now, as of society is concerned, artificial intelligence is part of the curriculum of my master's degree, which I have done way back 25 years back. But then now it is very popular. The reason for it is that, as Mr. Tejpal said, volume, millions of data points he said. Now, if you want to work on such a big numbers, then you need what is called deep learning, because numbers can be handled only by the human brain, even not by the human. Even human using a computer can't do anything, which his brain can do. And if you want to put how your brain is working into a computer, there you need to be equipped with what is called deep learning. So, there are some techniques in deep learning which will have some behavior similar to what is there inside your brain, which Tejpal said is the neurons. Our brain is having neurons.
Okay.
So, deep learning is also having neurons. There are what are called neural networks, but those neural networks and these neural networks are different. But for the sake of understanding, to simulate a brain, to mimic a brain, we use the same word. So, deep learning usage to the society is that they are very, very deep. Without deep learning, you can't really get the essence of what is happening in the society. One very simple example is that suppose you want to find whether a particular person visited a mall by intelligence agencies. When they run, they see millions of faces. Now, that face needs to be caught.
Yeah.
That is where deep learning is there,
Okay.
where there is huge data. Deep learning can play a role. That is what is the use to the society.
Okay. So, you just said that it's actually like a human brain is behaving, but as we see human brain, it develops with time and with age also. So, does the same thing apply to deep learning in computers too?
Yeah, you are right. That is what happens because I will tell you there are huge things called data sets, huge data sets. For example, let me say I show a cat and I want my computer to recognize it and say this is a cat. Okay. For that, the computer will be trained with billions of images of cats.
Okay.
So, even if a cat is looking this side or that side, it should say this is a cat. That is the challenge. So, as computer will also learn with the data inside it, based on the learning it happens, it can give the result better, just like humans, as you said. When you are born naturally intelligent and as you are growing, you are acquiring intelligence through learning and you are able to take better decisions and you have better perceptions. The same is the case with the deep learning algorithm also. It gets the data inside, it gets trained and it tries to give the accurate result.
And I will just add one more thing. Over the period when so you train the system with deep learning to a certain level, start it, you make use of it in your real life. Then with the new data that is coming in, it is interpreting and making decisions and learning more. So, the accuracy levels of prediction or giving the results increases over time in the deep learning systems.
Yeah.
Mr. Nitya, can we have your definition of deep learning?
So, whenever we have a very huge amount of data, where we have the extreme complexities within the data, where we have the thousands of features or even tens of thousands, even millions of features and millions of dimensions in the data, and we have the millions and billions of data points, then it becomes extremely complex to find a pattern into the data and make some predictions through the normal or conventional or traditional machine learning algorithms like classification algorithms are there, random forest, decision trees, ANN and KNN, and there are regression models like linear regression as well as the polynomial regressions. Then we introduce completely a new set of neural networks, artificial neural network, everything. So, artificial neural network is basically a set of algorithms in the space of deep learning, where we have the deep neural network, we have the convolutional neural network, we have the dense neural network, shallow neural network, and we have recurrent neural network. So, all these neural networks, they fall into the family of artificial neural network, which is a replica of kind of a human brain, because in human brain we have the billions of neurons. They interact with each other to arrive at some decision or conclusion or some information. But so in our brain, we have a natural neural network. So, all these neurons, they create a neural network interacting with each other. We call it a natural neural network. And when we mimic all these neural network into the machine, then we call it an artificial neural network. So, whenever we mostly work into the computer vision space like image classification, object identifications, we do need to do an analytics on the videos like secure CCTV cameras, where the security guard doesn't have to sit and look at all the time the videos and images. This branch of deep learning can do the same thing that humans are doing.
And sir, if we talk about the speed, so does it recognize in the same speed as a human brain does? Like suppose I'm holding a paper right now,
Right.
and also the detailed thing, like I'm holding a white paper which has something written on it with a blue ink. So
Right.
will it recognize it that fast that a human brain recognizes?
Yeah, I mean, yes. So there are two things here. One is the when human brain thinks, one is the creativity, one is the speed. So when it comes to speed, then definitely computers are faster, much faster than the humans, right? They can take the decisions in a much faster way, especially when it comes to, because we are discussing deep learning here, when it comes to deep learning data and deep dive, if the humans does a deep dive into the millions of data points and millions of features, in each of the data point, then human brain will take ages to find some pattern into the data. But
Okay.
computers, if we have made our deep learning model learn through all these data points, then they can take much faster decisions than a human brain. As far as creativity is concerned, then obviously right now human beings are far ahead of the intelligent machines.
Because you're anyways feeding it.
Yeah, anyways,
Yeah.
you are feeding it, yes,
Yeah.
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 So the ideas that comes to humans' mind, the creativity that comes to
Yes.
human minds, right now, deep learning is not there actually, not so near, right?
Okay.
Right.
I'll move on to Mr. Singh. Sir, how is it different from machine learning if we talk about the deep learning?
In machine learning, we actually train the system, which means that at certain stages, a human actually tells the machine this feature is that. You learn from that. And then it moves on to identify other things. But when you talk about deep learning things, the feature recognition is part of the system itself. So, the deep learning algorithms can actually identify those feature sets in their process of learning itself, and which does not require a human person to take a decision, okay, this feature is right, this feature is not. That is where this learning process becomes automated, and that is where the major difference comes between machine learning and deep learning.
Now, we all have a different expertise. So, does the computer, the deep learning computer, has its own expertise? Like it can cater to only one kind of subject, or is it like you can ask anything under the sun from the computer?
So, that actually depends upon what stage of training the machine has been given
Okay.
to. That is the most important aspect. If let us say I have trained the machine to understand plants, so it will understand the all aspects of plants and start learning from more and more as it sees more of the plants. And I have suppose I have trained the other machine to understand the human or face recognition. For example, I know you because I have seen your face. My brain has registered XYZ person, name and the brain. So, now I am looking at you and I am able to interpret. And we have as humans completely vast definition. So, we can actually look at and interpret a lot of things. But in the machine learning, a computer is actually dumb unless you switch it on and make it work for you. So, in the deep learning concept also, it is the similar stuff. But at the same time, examples like Sophie, if you look at Sophie as a humanoid, which is being given a cognitive learning skills, is now at a stage where it is interpreting and learning like a human being. So, recently she had learned how to paint.
Okay.
Few years back, when she was initiated, she started traveling. She was taken across the globe and she was given a name. So, she knows my name is Sophie, and she is now doing a music composition as well. So, she learned how to play piano. This is the area of deep learning we are looking at, where cognitive skills is being picked up like humans by a machine.
I have the same question from Mr. Suresh, that in academic language, if you have to make the students understand that what is the difference between deep learning and machine learning?
One striking difference is feature extraction. Feature extraction means in the case of machine learning, the person who is writing the program needs to do some work. Like let me say I am putting a car in front of the computer which is having the artificial intelligence algorithm, whether it is a deep learning or a machine learning algorithm. Suppose it is machine learning algorithm and I am having a car in front of it, and it should say that that is car. And how it can say? In the case of machine learning, I should also give it input that it will have 4 wheels, it will have a steering, it will have a mirror. You have to explain all the features of that image to your program, in addition to giving lot of images of cars. In the case of, suppose the same computer is having a deep learning algorithm, I need to only load many images of cars, but does not need to tell that it is having 4 wheels, it is having steering, because a deep learning algorithm does feature extraction by itself from the data set it got. In the case of machine learning, we need to tell the features also. Let me say some infant, not even infant, maybe 1 or 2 years boy going to a zoo and looking at an animal which is standing posture, he may say it is a human. Because for him humans are in standing posture, it is also in standing posture. But suppose you also input the features to that infant, that humans have these also features, all those things, then he may distinguish. Now, if the human, that infant is behaving like a deep learning algorithm, he will not say that animal is human, though it is in the standing posture. But if it is a machine learning algorithm, you have to give what a human will have, and then they will compare, irrespective of the issue that it is having a lot of human images inside it. Still you have to tell the features of a human, only then it will be able to recognize. That is part 1. The way deep learning algorithm works, the way machine learning algorithm works, they are completely different. Only when you are speaking about deep learning algorithms, they use what are called neural networks. Machine learning does not use that word neural networks.
Okay.
It works on the, what Tejpal said, classification algorithms. Correct. Like SVP.
What is being fed it to it already?
Yeah, naive Bayes theorem. There are other algorithms which will be used in the machine learning. Then another big difference is that in the case of deep learning, the volume of data is also very large when compared to machine learning. First of all, machine learning itself needs a lot of data. Then deep learning needs more than that. Some applications that are in action are Google's Translate app. You speak a big page, it will translate you instantly. It uses deep learning. So, in the case of machine learning and deep learning, these are the differences. One is feature extraction, which does not happen in the case of deep learning, then huge volumes, and third one is, as Nityanand ji said, that we are at a bit distant when compared to deep learning is concerned.
You know, I would like you to tell them a few examples of the previous machine learning and the new deep learning in applied sciences.
So, deep learning is a smaller circle inside a bigger circle of machine learning. So, you can say deep learning is a very special case of machine learning. And now think, I will just try to explain with a helpful example. Let us say you have some climate data where you have the months from January to December, and then this is the humidity, this is the maximum temperature, minimum temperature. When you have to find a pattern in the data, and you have the data from last many years. So, you need to find that, okay, Januaries are colder, Decembers are colder, and May, June, July are hotter. Then finding a pattern in this particular scenario, our machine learning models are pretty much very much helpful in this kind of, because data is small. We have the last few years of data, and it is only January to December, only 12 features are there, 12 columns or 12 dimensions are there. But especially when we work on the images and when we work on the sounds, when we work on especially the media things, where we have the video analytics, image analytics, voice analytics, in that case our numbers of dimensions goes in millions and sometimes in billions, or number of features goes in there. And that point in time, finding a pattern in the data, the machine learning algorithms normally do not work. So, as I took the example of weather forecasting or weather kind of thing. So, there are only 12 months, or even if we go out day by day, then we have only 365 features. So, 365 features are too less, and even machine learning models are capable enough to handle those. So, as I said, the machine learning is a bigger circle, and inside that there is a smaller circle like deep learning. So, deep learning we use only when our number of features goes in millions and billions, and our data points also goes in billions type of. In deep learning, we have specialized new set of algorithms, and they all fall under the umbrella of artificial neural network, especially when we work on the video or media sort of things, where the dimensions becomes in millions and billions, data points goes in billions, and finding or taking decisions from the data, then machine learning algorithms, the standard one, they normally do not work. So, we have to rely on the artificial neural network which
Okay.
further goes down a family of different neural networks, and depending on the problem statement and depending on the complexities of the data, we choose which particular neural network we need to select and move forward.
So, if you talk of the infrastructure, so the existing on-date, can it be used for developing or running deep learning applications? Applications should be upgrade the infrastructure.
So, if you recollect, so what Mr. Suresh was telling earlier, that you for deep learning kind of solutions, there is processing power needed which is based on GPU powers. That is where things are moving towards. So, if you have a normal machine, it may be difficult to learn deep or do a deep learning solution, but if you have a machine with good GPU power and heavy storage spaces, because if you look at the unorganized data, which is audio, video kind of things, they require huge spaces. So, you will require definitely, as a hobbyist, you can use a personal computer with good GPU and good storage space to create a solution and work with it. But on a production frame or a live scenario, live solutions, you require some kind of power. So, but at the same time, I would also like to iterate in the sense that in today's world, connected to the internet, the solutions are becoming such and such that the hardware power is driven from the cloud network systems. So, you can have a virtual cloud connection that actually does the processing of deep learning, which is actually using GPUs, physical machines, and you can still create a solution from your PC in general PC. Okay. So, those are the things that are coming up, and that's where companies like IBM, Azure and Google, their cloud platforms are gearing and giving these kind of solutions. I would also like to add up, I think there is an Indian CEO behind that organization, which is H2O, which is democratizing all this platform thing for creating deep learning solutions. Okay. So, you use their solution and actually the computations are happening on their machines over the internet, and you get to see the result of what you are trying to do. So, yes, it requires a bit of infrastructure, but at the same time you have these shared infrastructures that you can make use of and build the solutions out of it.
Okay. Suresh sir, we were just talking about online thing a while back. Now, we see a lot of online frauds happening whenever we are making payments and all. So, through deep learning applications, can we expect increased cyber security?
Yeah, sure. Particularly malware. Okay. Malware means the software with a bad intention getting installed in your device without your knowledge. Okay, that is malware. So, it will be able to easily detect it. One feature I would like to say that was launched by a particular company, iOS latest version. It will ask you whether you would like to be tracked by the other websites or the particular app about what all sites you are browsing to. Okay, it is giving you an option that was opposed by many companies, but still the company went ahead with that option. So, when you say no, nobody can track your activity. Okay, otherwise everybody is tracking your activity. Okay. So, this option was given now. So, you do not know who is tracking otherwise. Okay. So, you went to a particular place, next day one advertisement will flash on your mobile saying that the air ticket to this place is very less, now you can travel, without you never trying to book the ticket also. Malware is one, then another is intrusion detection. Intrusion detection is that in large networks, in big offices, they have networks, they have their own servers, data centers and other things. Others will be trying to hack the data. Okay, so, there the people who sit will be able to see the graphics in the server, control and other things, how many intrusions are being tried, all those things. So, it will be very easy using deep learning to find the intrusions, ensure that malware does not get installed, and in some cases they will even help you in hiding your IP address. So, that you do not even, they do not even know from which device you are logging in, because all this data may be getting hacked somewhere. If you have heard something called Wayback Machine, there is a portal Wayback Machine, some website which was created 20 years back and no more now can be retrieved using the Wayback Machine.
Okay.
And it works at the world level. So, something 20 years back you type the URL at that time there, it will extract the images of that site and show to you.
Oh.
Okay. So, that is the power of the internet. Okay. So, all these things are possible using deep learning to reduce the risk.
Right. Yeah.
Not completely, it is not that they will get completely avoided, but the risk becomes less.
I think I would
So-
add up, in the recent times you have seen in the news, you must have heard about Pegasus.
Yeah.
Right? So, imagine what deep learning can do to prevent that kind of an attack and that kind of information exchange or information pilferage. Right? That is what intrusion detection will come
In fact,
into play.
using deep learning, we have built deep learning models which can, at the online transactions, what are the fraudulent online transactions are happening on the credit cards or debit cards can be detected at the online level.
Okay.
Right, based on the different features the user uses on a website. So, those things can be very well captured by the bank, and the bank can take an immediate actions that these are the fraudulent transactions using deep learning.
So, are we seeing in practical any of the banks using such applications?
Yeah, in future definitely is going to happen in 5 to 10 years, but some of the largest banks in the world, they have already started implementing it or testing it.
Okay.
And I personally have worked on with one of the bank implemented this fraudulent transactions. So, it happens in two stages, one is the offline, one is the online. That means the transaction has happened, and after the transaction has happened, then we tell to the bank, but that is a stage 1. Then that can be further extended to the stage 2 also. That has also been done, that at the time of fraudulent transactions online real time, that can also be detected.
So, one last question I would like to ask from the faculty of IGNOU. Sir, what is the background that we need for deep learning, and at graduation level, what is the programming language that one needs to study to be a master at deep learning later?
First thing is that to become a master in deep learning, there should be good understanding of mathematics,
Okay.
calculus, linear algebra,
Okay.
and other things. As of programming languages are concerned, normally whatever they are studying as part of being a graduate in computers, that's sufficient for them, like whether it is a Java or a C++ or a Lisp or a Prolog. They study a lot of languages from graduation onwards, they are sufficient for them, but one catch is that many students ignore the mathematics papers while they are in graduation or post graduation. Mathematics plays a very big role in both deep learning as well as machine learning. So, this is something which they have to take care.
So, that was indeed an in-depth discussion on the topic of deep learning. I would once again like to thank our panel here today. Mr. Tejpal Singh, thank you so much. Mr. P.V.
pleasure.
Suresh, thank you so much. And Mr. Nitya Tiwari, thank you all three of you for taking out precious time from your busy schedules and coming here and giving us so much of information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.